Prosecutor in a murder case is deciding whether or not he may be able to use the testimony of an African Grey Parrot whose owner was shot and killed last year. So several weeks after the incident, the parrot started repeating an argument, one that always ends, "Don't shoot." So in May of 2015, this is the case of Martin Durham. He was the owner of this parrot. The parrot's name is Bud. He's a 19-year-old African Grey Parrot. And he was shot multiple times and killed in his home in Sand Lake, Michigan. And apparently, yeah, a couple of weeks after this happened, his parrot that he had started repeating an argument. It would start with something along the lines of, "Get out." Then there's another voice that says, "Where am I going to go?" And then it ends with the bird. I'm quoting the bird, and he says, "Don't fucking shoot." So since then, the prosecutor is trying to decide whether or not that is admissible here, and we'll get into some of the details there. But I know that we're dealing with a murder case, so I don't want to be insensitive. But part of me is like, oh my God, this is
because you're imagining a bird walking into the courtroom and taking the stand and putting his little thing on the Bible.
His little claw on the Bible. Yeah, there's a lot going through my head. Like, in your own words, describe. I don't know.
I would imagine, okay, I'm just assuming if they are going to use this bird as evidence, that maybe they'll use a recording of it. They're not going to bring the actual bird into the courtroom, maybe, you know?
I don't
know. What
know.
if it doesn't want to talk at that very moment? You got a bird on the stand. It's like, all right.
It's unclear whether or not that's going to happen. So Robert Springstead, he is the prosecuting attorney in this. He said that his office, they've been doing a lot of research about African Grey Parrots to see if this is possible, to see, you know, they're talking to different experts that say that in certain stressful situations, a bird, even if they've only heard a certain phrase a couple of times, they'll keep saying it. And I don't know, I mean, parrots are really, really intelligent.
Obviously.
Some people consider it, they consider it less of hearsay and more like a recording device. What do you think, Elliot?
Okay, so let's just go back over a couple of things. So you're saying that he says it in a voice. Can you just so you're saying that the parrot is playing characters, different characters, he's got a sort of slightly different tone with the parts of the conversation. Is that that's what I'm taking from that?
Unfortunately, I haven't interviewed Bud the parrot, so I don't know, but I do know that the mother of the victim, unfortunately, she says that she thinks that bird picks up everything. His ex-wife in this case was saying, she has this to say, she says, "I believe with all my heart that those are the last words of Marty. I recognize two different voices screaming and yelling, and it always ends with 'Don't fucking shoot.' He's using Marty's voice and imprinted in his brain, and he can't let it go." So I don't know if that's her saying, "I personally hear two different voices," or if really there's actual inflection.
I don't think the bird is like reading from this script in his head, like, okay, character A, character B. I think he's literally just replicating exactly what he heard, and it just happens to be two different kinds of voices. I don't think he's consciously saying, okay, now switch to this voice, switch to that voice.
Yeah, but hang on a second.
Elliot,
hang on a second here. It's a parrot. Yes. It's a parrot. A parrot has a voice, and it's. You're saying that there's a different. But what you're saying is there is a different tone or a different timbre to the parrot, because he's just replicating it. Whenever I've heard a parrot, it just says
sounds like a parrot.
Well,
it sounds like a parrot.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think the ex-wife is maybe saying, like, I hear like, you can tell that it's two different people talking, as opposed, like, it's not like the bird's going in there being like, "Hey, get out." No, like, I don't think that's what's going on. But also,
there's a distinction who's who.
Yeah, but at least it makes it sound like there's two different people having this conversation. But at the end of the day, all the bird is saying is, "Don't fucking shoot." Let me tell you though, I know this sounds cuckoo bananas, but apparently back in 1993, a similar case, I mean, although the reverse of this case happened. So there was a man.
Parrot shot someone. That's the reverse.
Right. It's not exactly the reverse. Let me explain. So there was a man that was accused of murdering his business associate, and the victim's African Grey Parrot, his name was Max, started saying, "No, Richard, no, no." And the public defender of the client was trying to bring that testimony into the case because his client's name was Gary. So he was trying to say, well, the parrot said that it was Richard that did the shooting. Unfortunately, the judge did not buy that, and unfortunately, Gary's serving a life sentence.
Yeah,
so,
and the reason is because it wasn't, they weren't involved in the movie Zootopia.
Yeah, exactly.
Where animals come and can give testimony in a court of law.
Now, certainly, yes, it would be very strange to bring a parrot in and expect all of this. But I do think, considering some people consider them like recording devices as opposed to...
Sure, but what probative value does the parrot have?
Probably to just, I mean, I don't think that
Because there's no dispute. My point being, what is the dispute at the moment between, because the wife number 2 shot and killed this individual and then attempted to shoot and then attempted to commit suicide.
She did attempt to
So
commit
there's no
suicide.
dispute.
She survived a gun wound to the head. There is no. It looks like she's going to be convicted either way, which is why this is just a consideration. He's not saying like, God is my witness, I'm going to put this parrot on the stand. He's just looking into it to see like, is this even something that we could consider, considering he, you know. Why?
He was a witness.
Consider all the facts of the case. The parrot is a witness. A lot of these, I mean, I've seen video of parrots telling their owners they love them and like being upset if the owner dies. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Crazier things have happened.
So this is Lassie come to life.
Yeah.
Yes, Lassie. Tell me, boy.
Yes,
what
bud.
is it?
So
yeah. So they're not going to paraphrase the parrot.
Right. Get out. Get out. Okay. So according to this case, we'll see how it happens, but we'll see if Bud's parrot testimony will hold up in court.